I'm live. Hey everyone, welcome to something I want to try this football season. Don't know if anybody's going to hop on, but I'm going to sit down on my porch, maybe have some dinner some nights, depending on when I eat, and go over the football games. So let me have a bite of dinner. Maybe a nice chicken salad, avocado and tomatoes. A lot of big NFL action today. A lot of dog action for those of the betting favorites. Now, of course, it would be remiss if I didn't have a beer. So we'll crack open Premiere Pilsner by Magnetic South, Upstate Brewery in Anderson. Pop that. Whoa! Good thing nobody's watching me yet. A little hard for it. Don't want to get too crazy. A nice foamy hard pour. Brian the Beer Snob and Dave's TV would be proud of that one, I bet. What do you say we go over some NFL scores, huh? So being down in South Carolina, one would assume that I would get the Panthers game. And sometimes privy to the Falcons games as well. So this week, being week one, I did get the Falcons game. I don't know what the hell that bird is, but I don't know if that's going to be a consistent thing because I know for the year I was living in the upstate in Simpsonville, sometimes we got the Falcons game, sometimes we didn't. I know we always got the Panthers game, so I'm a little skeptical to say whether I'm going to get Falcons and Panthers every week. Go to the NFL page. So let's start at the top. One of the games I had. That's the Saints' little come-from-behind victory over the Falcons. Final score 27-26. They wound up outscoring Atlanta 17-3 in the fourth quarter. Of course, there was a little bit of fugazi officiating at the end of the game there. Wound up setting up Atlanta for a prayer field goal. Wound up getting blocked. Would have been a 63-yard attempt, so it would have been quite a difficult attempt one way or the other. But regardless, it got blocked. The scoring rundown of this game start out with a coup field goal to put Falcons up 3-0. Taysom Hill, 11-yard touchdown, 7-3. Patterson, huge game by Cordarrelle Patterson, over 100 yards, scored this touchdown. Got the Falcons back in it. Well, I guess they were already in it, but they got them on top, 10-7. Coup had two successive field goals, up 16-7. That took us to halftime. After halftime, Will Lutz, longtime kicker for the Saints, hit a 49-yarder, getting the Saints back in it, 16-10. Marcus Mariota scored a 2-yard touchdown, further extending the Falcons' lead. And what was next? Oh, and then Coup had another field goal to start the fourth quarter, or very early in the fourth quarter, rather. That put them up 26-10. Now it got interesting. Michael Thomas, man hasn't played in a year. Get these updates out of there. Man hasn't played in a year. Caught a short touchdown pass from infamous Jameis. 2-point conversion successful to the rookie Chris Olave. Got them back in at 26-18. And Michael Thomas scored again. This was with under 4 minutes left in the game, bringing the Saints to within 26-24. They did not convert the 2-point conversion. And Saints wound up going back and forth at least once by my recollection, and Saints wound up kicking a 50-yarder with under 20 seconds left to put them up eventually for good. Now, of course, we had that little incident at the end with the officiating and wound up setting up the Falcons for their prayer, which was blocked. So I started out the day. Watching Panthers game. Of course, that was a huge storyline with Baker Mayfield playing against his old team in his home debut for the Panthers. So I missed a lot of the early action in the Saints game, but when the Browns got out to that big lead early on, I kind of like, all right, this is over. Panthers looked atrocious in the first half, absolutely atrocious. They could not pass block. Their running defense was absolutely horrible. Pass defense looked okay, but that also could have been due to the fact that they were playing against Jacoby Brissett. Now, I'm a Colts fan. I tend to have a soft spot for Jacoby Brissett, but at the same time, it's Jacoby Brissett. Well, wound up switching over to the Falcons and caught a lot of the action in the second half. Unfortunately, a lot of these big leads that happened in the first half this week, a lot of them dissipated. A lot of them dissipated in the second halves. So the Panthers did make a comeback, and we'll go over that one next, which I missed most of, but got a little junky at the end. So yeah, like I said, this one I mostly watched the first half of this Panthers game. The first quarter was pretty yuck. Nobody scored. Second quarter came around. Browns got rolling a little bit. Kareem Hunt scored two short touchdowns. Went into half up 17-7. Second half comes. Browns didn't find the end zone again. So this Panthers defense just got absolutely shredded. Absolutely shredded. Looks like they shut down the Browns very much. Whoop. Too much of the hard pour. It's the dangers of doing a hard pour, folks. Live TV, that's how we do. Panthers actually this little comeback. They outscored the Browns 70-6 in the fourth quarter. So again, like I said, in the first half, you had not one, I guess one's so much short, but the second one was almost in the red zone. You had a short 1-yard pass from Brissett to Hunt. Hunt scored a 24-yard touchdown. McCaffrey finally scored. McCaffrey looked awful in most of the game, most of the first half, but he did get in the end zone. Rookie Cade York, 26-yarder to end the half, and then another one in the third quarter, and that was the scoring. So the Browns go into the fourth quarter up 27. Now in the fourth quarter, Baker wound up getting a touchdown, got him within 20-14. Now it's a close game. Cade York kicks another field goal, stretches out a little bit. Got a bomb pass, Robbie Anderson from Baker, 75-yarder to bring the Panthers within 2. Then they get a field goal under 2 minutes to go. You'd think the Panthers be able to hold on to this. However, if you saw that defense in the first half, you would have no confidence they can hold any kind of lead. Then the rookie Cade York again kicks an almost 60-yarder with 8 seconds left in the game, too. So you have two NFC South matchups, both ending on extremely long, extremely difficult to make field goals. One of them gets blocked in a dome. The other one outside Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte winds up drilling it. And that's going to be the road kicker. Browns hold on. Now, as far as the other 1 o'clocks go, I'm in a pick'em league through Common Man Brew Review with other beer influencers. So some of these games, now I made the foolish decision not realizing they were picking against the spread, so that may or may not have influenced some of my picks to go the other way, but that's okay. Another game, the Bears. First game in the Matt Eberflus era. Of course, I'm a Colts fan. Good to see. True Blue Horseshoe. Um, that first game in the Matt Eberflus era, Justin Fields securely cemented as the starter in Chicago. And of course, going up against hosting the Niners, the first game of the Trey Lance era, Kyle Shanahan taking the Niners with Jimmy Garoppolo to the NFC Championship game previous year, switches quarterbacks to the young guy. So the Bears, I think the Bears were definitely the dogs in this, and the Niners were up 10-7 through. Here's another comeback. The Niners were up 10-7 through 3 quarters. Debo, former South Carolina Gamecock, scored a short yardage touchdown. Robbie Gould put him up 10-0. Then a 51-yard pass from Fields to Dante Pettis to, getting close to the end of the third quarter, got the Bears within 3. And then the fourth quarter is where the Bears kind of really came back. Equanimous St. Brown, that's a name. Equanimous St. Brown, 18-yarder from Justin Fields, puts the Bears up 13-10. They missed the PAT, and Khalil Herbert pushes it in for 3 yards to put them up 19-10, and they held on for the remaining 7 minutes of the game. Now, you have this game, right? So this is kind of really very, very much a tale of two franchises. You have a franchise in Chicago that really has a lot of pieces in place, but a lot of question marks too. They're switching the coaches over. They got this young quarterback that they really like, but he's not had a ton of success so far. Chicago, of course, always known for having tremendous defenses. San Francisco having a tremendous defense of their own. So you would think this is going to be a slugfest, low scoring. Teams didn't combine for 30 points. So I guess by today's NFL standards, you could say that was low scoring. But in any event, Bears come out on top. Niners take it on the chin. But who knows? Maybe a lot of hype, a lot of expectations for the Trey Lance era in San Francisco. So maybe this was needed. Hey, take your licks early. Little humble pie and get back on the shtick. Let's try this beer, huh? It is a beer review channel. That's what you guys watch me for normally, right? Very nice and clean aroma. Yeah, super clean. No bready aroma. Not really a corn aroma either. It's kind of clean, crisp, refreshing. I've been eating salad, so that's what my palate is at the moment. That's nice. That's nice. Not a big flavor, but it's a Pilsner. Anyone that knows me knows I like my Pilsners without a lot of flavor. Yes, indeed. I like them to be more of a sensation as opposed to a flavor. Now we're coming up on, we got about a half an hour before this night game kicks off, so we should probably go through these a little faster. We had an overtime thriller in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, of course, Super Bowl participant last year, very close. Joe Burrow put up a heck of a performance in the Super Bowl, despite the fact that he got his ass knocked around like a rag doll. This was a lot of Pittsburgh. They were up 17-6. They're up 17-6 at halftime. Burrow actually threw 4 interceptions in this game. So you have the Super Bowl that he got sacked 8 times and still was within a reasonable shot of winning that game, winning the championship. And you have this game where he threw 4 picks, had an otherwise abysmal game, but this wound up still being a competitive game. Like I said, started off the game throwing a pick 6 to Minka Fitzpatrick. Put the Steelers up 7-0. McPherson kicked a 59-yard field goal. This will come back around. This has quite a bit of drama towards the end of this game. Um, Boswell, short yard, field goal. Steelers are up 10-3 after one. Najee Harris, last year's rookie phenom of the Steelers, scored a short touchdown from Mitch Trubisky. Boswell makes the PAT up 70-3. McPherson kicks another field goal to end the half, closing the Bengals to 17-6. Third quarter comes. Steelers do not find the scoreboard. In that quarter, Tyler Boyd, short yard patch from Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, two-point conversion of Mike Thomas. Bengals are now within 3, 17-14. Boswell, 48-yarder early in the fourth quarter. And Jamar Chase, with 2 seconds left, the Bengals out 20-14. Short yard touchdown from Joe Burrow, and Evan McPherson gets the PAT blocked. So now, instead of with no time remaining, and the Bengals could just walk off the field nice and easy, squib kick, final game, they're now tied. They're now left tied at 20. In overtime, there was some field goal drama, and Boswell wound up lining up. I believe he wound up missing one, and eventually making again from 53 yards. That wound up being the winner. So the Steelers wind up coming out on top anyway, but not without the Bengals causing some drama and making it very close. Philly, Detroit. Anyone who watched Hard Knocks, I still have to watch Hard Knocks. Shame on me. Was probably anticipating a lot from the Lions this year, but also in this game because Philly is, not anyone to sleep on, but they're also not a world beater by any stretch. However, they got off to a super hot start. They had if I do my math correct, 24-14 lead at halftime. Detroit did open the scoring. Jamal Williams had a short touchdown run. Then 3 straight touchdowns by the Eagles. Jalen Hurts from short yardage. James Bradbury, a 27-yard pick six. DeAndre Swift got the Lions back on the board. Short touchdown run with under 2 minutes to go in the half, and then Jake Elliott with a field goal right before halftime. That gets you to 24-14. Second-year running back Kenneth Gainwell for the Eagles in the second half. Punches it in. Puts them up 31-14. Amon-Ra St. Brown, short pass from Jared Goff, 31-21. Getting the Lions close, and then the Eagles score again. Short yardage run by Boston Scott, 38-21. And then the Lions wanted to make it interesting. You'd think at this point they just roll over, being the Lions, typical Lions, right? Jamal Williams punches in from 1 yard. TJ Chark, 22-yard press from Goss. At that point, less than 4 minutes left in the game. The Lions are up 3, but they cannot close it out. Philly comes out victorious, holds on to that lead. Now the next one's interesting because I'm obviously originally from up north. I've seen a lot of Patriots games. I'm used to the Patriots struggling in Miami. However, it's normally, for whatever reason, when the Patriots have their Dolphins game in Miami, it's normally at the end of the season, not usually week 1. Not usually week 1. So I just figure if it's going to be early in the season, Pats usually do get off and roll. But Lord knows they did not today. This was the typical Patriots nightmares that they have in Miami. It was not close at all. Dolphins were up 17-0 at halftime with a 43-yard field goal. Melvin Ingram, another former Gamecock product, 2-yard fumble return, and Jalen Waddle, 42-yard pass from Tua. Third quarter gets going. Patriots finally got on the board with a short-yard pass from Mac Jones, Ty Montgomery, and Jason Sanders, near 50-yarder, to put the Dolphins up 20-7, and that wound up being the final score. No one scored in the fourth quarter. So, the Patriots last year, they wanted to make it in the playoffs, of course. Mac Jones played a lot better on the road than at home, and here they are starting the road early in the season. Dolphins always a little sketchy, granted a new coach. Tua's got the reins. A lot of optimism for sure, but still probably not a lot of probably not a lot of talent to back that up always. So, kind of still think that to give the Patriots the benefit of the doubt, give Bill Belichick the benefit of the doubt, but that did not happen, of course. Next game, of course, another AFC East participant, the New York Jets. As nobody probably would be surprised, they got absolutely walloped by the Ravens. Wound up losing 24-9. Justin Tucker, short yard field goal, opened the scoring in the second quarter. Devin Duvernay, medium length touchdown pass from Lamar Jackson. Jets got on the board right before halftime, 10-3 on a 45-yard field goal from Legatron. Devin Duvernay scores again from Lamar, getting close to the end of the third quarter, 7 minutes left, about halfway through. And then Lamar does it again, this time a much longer touchdown pass, 55-yard to Rashad Bateman, puts them up 24-3. Then the Jets finally find pay dirt in the fourth quarter, but PAT fails. Touchdown from Tyler Conklin, and the Jets fall very meekly to the Ravens, 24-9. Now this one was a little exciting. Jacksonville, Washington, another little comeback. This was 14-3 at halftime. Washington up. Not too much going on in the first half for the Jags. They had a field goal fairly early in the first quarter to open it up, but Washington came back, short yard pass, Curtis Samuel from Carson Wentz. Another short yard pass from Carson Wentz to Jahan Dotson this time. There you go into halftime. James Robinson in the third quarter, little more than halfway through, takes a short yard touchdown from Trevor Lawrence. Failed 2-point conversion. Jags get another field goal about 7 minutes after that. Not too long in the fourth quarter, they get another field goal. Jags are now up 15-14 at this point. James Robinson scores a 11-yard touchdown about halfway through, puts them up 22-14. You're thinking, oh, the J or the Jags, they're finally going to do it. Got a lot of promise. New head coach, Super Bowl winning head coach, and Trevor Lawrence in the second year. Former Clemson product. But Washington winds up closing this out. Carson Wentz was having a rough second half, but he got it back when it counted, under 10 minutes. Near 50-yard pass to Terry McLaurin. 2-point conversion failed. They are still down 22-20 at this point. Jahan Dotson scores his second game 24-yarder from Wentz. Now this time Wentz converts the 2-point conversion to J.D. McKissick. They are up 28-22, and they hold on with under 2 minutes left. Now my team, oh boy. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't realize the low power thing was coming on. My team, the Indianapolis Colts, we got off to a super rough start. We were down 20-3 through 3 quarters. Not feeling very good. Didn't have Bill to the game. Texted my cousin though. Defense looked atrocious early on. Offense started out pretty hot. Went flat. Went a little rough. Rodrigo did get the scoring started in the first with a field goal, but the Texans then went on with a field goal of their own. Actually, I'm sorry, over the course of the second and third quarter, 2 field goals of their own, plus 2 touchdowns from O.J. Howard, of former Tampa Bay fame. 1 from 16, 1 from 22, and that gets you to the start of the fourth quarter with the Texans on 20-3. Rodrigo bangs another field goal fairly early in the fourth, 20-6. Jonathan Taylor, best running back in the league, at me on that. Brings us to 20-13, and then we tie the game with a 15-yarder touchdown of Michael Pittman from Matt Ryan. 20-20 going to overtime, and to my knowledge from hearing in the post-game shows, I didn't catch any of this game. Rodrigo did shank a field goal in overtime or so, or if it wasn't overtime at the end of the fourth, probably in overtime though, and winds up being ends in a tie. So hey, it's not a loss, but it's a tie, and due to some of these other games, we're not in last place. We're actually not so bad. Speaking of which, that is the first 4 o'clock game will go. Another wound up being a comeback. Tennessee Titans were up 13-0 on the New York Football Giants at halftime. Giants had a little bit of a comeback in the third, outscoring the Titans 13-7. So you do the math, that's 20-13 Titans going into the fourth. Titans' first half scoring was one Hilliard touchdown pass, two Randy Bullock field goals. Giants, of course, got back with the scoring with a Saquon Barkley short touchdown run and a huge 65-yard pass from Daniel Jones to Sterling Shepard to tie the game at 13. Dontrell Hilliard catches his second touchdown pass of the game to put the Titans up 20-13. And with 1 minute, just over 1 minute left in the game in the fourth quarter, Chris Myrick, 1 yarder from Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones converts the 2-point conversion to Barkley, putting the Giants up 21-20. Not enough time left for the Titans to come back. So here I am. On one hand, my pick'em league didn't do so hot, of course, with the Titans losing, because they were well within covering going into that fourth quarter, but the Giants had other plans, and you know what? I'll take the silver lining on that, because now the Colts are not a game behind first. They might actually be tied for first, if my math is correct, because the Jags lost. The Texans obviously had the same result as us, and the Titans lost. And then we had some big boy matchups as far as the other 4 o'clock games were concerned. Divisional rivalry in the NFC North, Packers-Vikings. Big-time young quarterback matchup between Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray out in the desert, Kansas City versus Arizona. And then, of course, big-time AFC West matchup. Rematch of that effective play-in game to end last year to get in the playoffs where Vegas won. Rematch of that, and possibly a lot of duking it out is going to happen in that division. Throughout the season, because you've got Denver with Russell Wilson, you've got Kansas City, of course, a 2-time Super Bowl participant, 1-time Super Bowl champion. Vegas, who has a ton of potential, new head coach, new toy in Devontae Adams, and the Chargers, who just spent out the wazoo in the offseason with maybe the best young quarterback in the league right now, and that's just Herbert. So we'll go into the Packers game first. There wasn't much doing here. Rodgers was probably maybe missing Devontae Adams. I mean, I'm one to think that Rodgers usually gets by with a lot of lesser talented wide receivers in the years. They wind up putting up decent numbers, so I feel like he'll find someone to bring him to haul in his touchdown passes, but so far looking like Adams got the better of that deal. So let's start out. Justin Jefferson had an absolutely monster game today. I think he had he may have had, by the time this was over, he may have had close to 200 yards. No, the last stat line I saw wound up being the final one. So he wound up having 9 receptions for 184 yards. Whoops. Oh, ESPN, what are you doing to me? Justin Jefferson did get the scoring started with a short pass from Cousins. Vikings tacked on a field goal. Jefferson's had a 36-yarder from Cousins again. 17-0 at halftime. Jefferson gets another field goal a little more than halfway through the third. At this point, the Vikings are 20-0. Then the Packers finally got on the board. A.J. Dillon punches in from 2, 20-7. And then Drake Joseph another field goal with under 7 minutes to go in the game, 23-7. Packers were never in this game whatsoever. Probably a bit surprising. Everyone's so high on Aaron Rodgers all the time, every year. Gag. But the Vikings definitely came out, punched him in the teeth, and reminded them that the NFC North may still be a lot up for grabs than normal. Kansas City whooped up on Arizona today. Do my math correctly, 23-7 at halftime. They got off very hot. About halfway through the first, Kelsey short yard pass, another short from Mahomes, another short yard pass from Mahomes to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Then you think maybe the Cardinals are going to get it. James Conner punches in from 2, but at that point, then the Kansas City just got rolling. Another short yard pass from Mahomes to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, putting them up 20-7. Field goal from Butker, 23-7. Then 2 short passes from Mahomes, one to Jody Fortson, one to Mecole Hardman. Now, at this point, the Kansas City's up 37-7, and it is over. OVER done. Oh, Hollywood Brown does catch a short touchdown pass very early in the fourth quarter from Kyler, but extra fork in the steak. Isaiah Pacheco, short touchdown run from Kansas City, for Kansas City, put them up 44-15. Zach Ertz does catch a touchdown at the end from Kyler, but at that point, game's over. Kansas City still has a 20-point victory. A lot of question marks for Arizona, I would think, as the season will progress. That I know Hopkins is going to miss 6 games, so that's a big weapon that Kyler's going to be missing. And then of course this big shoot 'em out, duke 'em type of match between the Raiders and the Chargers. They exchanged field goals in the first, second quarter, 2 touchdowns from Justin Herbert, 1 short yardage to Xander Horvath, 1 a little bit further out, 23 yards to DeAndre Carter. Chargers are up 17-3 at halftime. Raiders get back in it in the third, fairly early in the third. Brandon Bolden, red zone touchdown from Derek Carr. Another touchdown from Herbert to Gerald Everett at this point. Also red zone touchdown. Long 50-yard field goal from Carlson. 24-13 Chargers at the end of 3. And that wound up holding on. Devontae Adams did catch a short yard pass from Derek Carr with a failed 2-point conversion. However, that is not enough, and the Chargers hold on 24-19. So we got two more games left, of course. That is tonight's game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the GOAT Tom Brady, going into Arlington to take on Dak. I'm kind of hesitant to expect much from the Cowboys. I just don't think that. First of all, they don't usually play well in week 1. Historically. If they have in recent years, I apologize, but historically, based on what I am used to seeing from them, they don't usually play well early on in week 1, and they always host it. It's usually, for a long time, it's always against the Giants, and the Giants start just being the toilet lately. So, I'm not expecting much from Dallas tonight, especially considering the fact that Tampa is rolling, Brady's motivated, got a lot of time off through camp and preseason. He's got a brand new, his best friend Gronk's gone, but he's got a new toy in Julio Jones. I think Julio Jones is actually going to be a lot more of a contributor than people think. Big target for Brady to throw to. He likes throwing those big targets, as we've seen over the years with Gronk. Damn, this is a good Pilsner. Holy cow. So, I'm thinking it's only a 2.5-point line, which makes me a little nervous, but maybe that's just paying deference to the home team. Because maybe if Tampa was at home, it would probably be like more closer to a touchdown, or maybe even closer to 10. Probably not closer to 10 though. Dallas still has a lot of talent. I'm just not very confident in them. Speaking of bigger lines, of course we have a game tomorrow. Russell Wilson playing his old team in his old park. Denver Broncos going to Seattle. Huge expectations for that game. Huge expectations for Denver this year. And, there's really not a whole lot going on in Seattle. They have 2 quarterbacks that they wound up not really making much of a decision on. They went with Geno Smith over Drew Lock, and nothing against Geno Smith, but at the same time, if he's your best option, then you might be having some issues at quarterback. So I'm certainly not expecting much at all from Seattle. I think Russ has all these new toys in Denver. Denver's, even in the post-Peyton years when they haven't been so great, they've still maintained an above-average defense. I think Russ is primed to roll this season, primed to roll tomorrow night up in Seattle. Get a little bit of revenge, punch in the teeth to Pete Carroll. Not expecting too much for them. So that wraps up week 1. We're at a nice 34 minutes. I was hoping it wouldn't take too long, and I guess that's not too bad. Ran through a whole week slate of games. Again, what I sipped on was the Premiere Pilsner by Magnetic South up in Anderson, South Carolina. Nice clear Pilsner color. Clean, crisp, refreshing. Nice to sip on while you're eating dinner and after a long day of enjoyment. That being said, cheers, folks. And maybe we'll do this again next week. Go over week 2. Maybe. See you, folks, next time.